I got a question because I was arguing with a guy the other day, and if you guys can tell me what's the difference between a videographer and a cinematographer.
Oh, we get into it.
Yeah, we got to get into that because
I thought this is only an hour podcast, right?
No,
do we have 5 hours? Oh my gosh.
No, seriously, we got to get into that because he was like, nah, but this and that. Said, listen, what you do is you do clips from here, clips here, you put them together. It looks good, but there's not a story there. It's not continuous.
So what are you, videographer versus what? Cinematographer?
Exactly.
It's very simple. It's actually, we can break it down and give you the answer right away.
Break it down.
It's a videographer doesn't necessarily handle like an aspect of imagery and art. You know, it's almost like, you know, get the production ready, shoot this. It's very like a corporate way, I would say. But a cinematographer it's cinema, right? It's not video. So you're actually combining art in essence of filmmaking and creating storylines. The lighting is not always the same. Yes, it's your 3-point lighting and all that, but sometimes, it's exactly. Yeah. But the mood is completely different. You know, and you're actually presenting a story through that like when you're a cinematographer, you have to explain in a story kind of way, depending on the script. And videographer is going to be like, okay, how do we shoot this? Let's get it done. The lighting's this way, right?
It is, to your point, taking the artist out of the equation when you switch over from video. It is not to say that they're not artistic or have quick eyes or whatever, but most videographers cut to music, right? The video is made to cut the music, whereas like for a cinematographer, you're making an incredible story and then composition is made to complement what you did, right? So you're making the art that then art is going to stack on top of, whereas with a lot of videographer work, you're going to find a track that you think is fun and you're going to cut to beats in that track for what, you know, you're not creating emotion. Usually you're dealing with a product or you know, an area or whatever. It's simply not storytelling.
Yeah, it's more so product and so what was his argument? What did he say what closed the difference between in his argument? I'm curious to know.
To be honest with you, it's like, you know, we like the years of walking around with a camera and shooting little stuff like for stores and stuff like that. I was talking about. I told him, I said, man, I can't do that no more because there's nothing there. That stuff that I didn't want to insult the guy, but I said that stuff that you do is temporary. It doesn't, it doesn't stick. As if you're doing something with a story and you're doing cinematography, that stuff is forever in my eyes. You get what I'm saying?
And I think to add also to what you were saying is the videographer doesn't necessarily, that could be wrong, like the scene himself. He is not really a master of lighting. He's more so the shooter.
Yeah, that's. Well, I also told him that because he comes out and he just pull out his camera and he works with the lights that's around.
Yeah,
he's
and they might have a couple
ISO
pieces.
all the way up. He's, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
so
they might have a couple lights.
No. The guy that I was arguing with,
but
in general,
like in a wedding, for example, wedding is not a cinematographer,
right?
Depending on,
but they'll have some light, but they probably have a couple lights for some of the stuff as well. You know, they might have some softbox they bring in the room for this shot, and really, it's just a question of whether or not you're just getting content that you're going to edit together in some way, or if you're I think the difference is storytelling, right? And I do think there are cinematographers that do weddings, and while they're doing the weddings, they're a videographer. But then they find a way to make, because you've seen wedding videos
the premise is what's the premise of the video that they're doing. If they're doing in cinema, they want their wedding to be told in cinema fashion versus 60 frames per second. You know, kind of like music going. It's a difference in that form, you know. And most people that do a wedding, they don't ask for it in a cinema way.
But the cheap part about the wedding is that it's a story of its own. Is a wedding.
Yeah, but the cinematographer has to convey that story in lighting and the way he shoots it. He doesn't handle the story himself technically. He's handling it how to present it on the screen the best.
You know how long it would take you to do a wedding if you was to take the steps that a cinematography takes to make things look well? It's just impossible, bro. Well, I mean, this shot 54 action.
No, but this
is only one shot.
Yeah, but it's who uses what's the end product, right? Essentially a wedding in that fashion would be a trailer. It would be an end result would be a trailer.
Yeah, which they do. They do those.
He doesn't have to worry about connecting scenes together because none of that's going to connect. It's all going to be B-roll stuff over something else.
Yeah.
So even though the cinematographer is doing that,
I think a big difference to that point is a cinematographer shoots something that's planned out and in sequence, right? And there might be some finagling in post to make it all fit together. But a videographer does not know the edit while they're shooting it.
Right.
They are simply getting as much pieces as they can that they think could fit together, and then later we'll figure it out. You know, and there's a huge difference between having a storyboard, having shot list, having, you know, everything planned out to exact nature, and simply being available to capture it.